All right, let's take a look at lesson 13 from Engage New York, and this is all about learning about rotations. We're looking at the beginning part, the exploratory challenge, and it says we need a pair of scissors. I have a pair of scissors here, though I've already used them. And we also need a ruler. So I actually am going to try this without a ruler, but rather I'm going to have a piece of paper that I can use as a reference point. So let's see how that works. It says here to cut out the 75-degree angle on the right. So we can see here that I have this angle, the 75-degree angle cut out. And we're going to use this as a guide to rotate the figure below 75 degrees counterclockwise around the center of the given center of rotation. So let's take a look here at our figure, and you can also follow along in your own file that says Engage New York. So what it asks us to do is to place the vertex of the 75-degree angle at point P. So we've got point P here and the 75-degree angle, and it actually says to go to line up with the ray with vertex A. So I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to, it says to use the ruler basically to measure the distance between point P and point A. So I'm going to take, instead of using a ruler, I'm just going to use this piece of paper as a reference point. I'm going to then move that, pivot that around, and actually I'm going to line this up so that the center, I know that the center of the 75-degree angle is on point P. I want to make sure that I can get the most precise rotation that I can, and line this up, and yikes, line it up, find that we have a point here, and we're actually going to call that, instead of calling it A, we're going to call it A prime. Now moving along, we're actually going to do this with each other angle. So here we've got P going back to our 75-degree angle, putting the point at the center, and finding where B is. We're going to measure B here. Going to make a mark. That second mark, we got to make sure this is lined up as well as we can. Going to take that second mark and line that up and find this second point, which we're going to then label. Instead of B, we're going to label it B prime. Moving along, going to line our 75-degree angle up with point C, and then also I'm going to take my little makeshift ruler, line it up with point C, and make a mark. Rotate that around. Rotate that around. Find now another point C, which actually we're going to call point C prime. We see that? All right. We've got point P now, and looking for point D. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start another side of this ruler so that I don't get everything mixed up. So here we've got point D. Oops. Yes, I made a, well, more than minor mistake. It's minor because it's easily fixed. So we want our angle here. Point on the point P and point D. This distance should be the same. It is. That's a good news. And we have point D prime. Point D prime. Now moving along and finding point from P to E. Taking a look here and finding this distance from P to E. Bam. All right. Oops, did the same mistake again. Here. See, easy to do those little mistakes, but we want to make sure that we are looking out for ourselves and for our rotation. All right, so taking a look here, and that was the first line, I believe. Let's double check that line. So that looks correct. And then we have one more to take a look at point P to F. And place our makeshift ruler on point P. And find out where F is. Okay, I keep just silly how often I keep doing this. All right, so we're putting this point on point P, put the angle on point P, and then we find where is our F prime. Our F prime is right here. So here, take a look at that, F prime. Let's see what this looks like. I'm going to get my actual ruler now because I just need a straight edge and see how well I did making this rotation. So connecting points A prime and B prime, connecting points B prime and C prime, connecting C prime and D prime, excuse me. And then, actually, it looks like I did not label E prime. So connecting D prime and E prime. Then E prime and F prime. And A prime and F prime complete the cycle. Hey, I think that looks pretty good. That looks actually better than my first attempt. I will show you my first attempt here. Just goes to show, see it's a little off. Just goes to show that trying things a couple times, using different techniques. First time I used the actual ruler and that wasn't so successful, but I hope you can see that we now have this shape that is being rotated around point P.